transferred to now at the courts, and more so for Kizza Besigye, who is being accused and suspected of possession of firearms and, of course, other offenses related to treason, had to be a high court case. Now, they appeared for plea, and of course, UBC TV, our team in the field, in our bulletins and other programming, will be giving you updates of what transpired and also letting you exactly know how court is going to proceed given the ruling. But we are still in the extra. Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono and my guests as we focus on accelerating action for gender equality as we gear up on the 8th of March, Saturday, to celebrate International Women's Day that will be held in Changkwanzi. Now, with me in studios earlier and still now, I have Joshua Chalimpa, who is the Senior Communications Officer at the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development at my extreme end. And I also have Haji Idi Mubarak Mayanja, who is the Principal Women in Development Officer at the Ministry. Now, Joshua, coming to you, when we talk about women empowerment, we have just discussed that it's been a journey. But what are some of those key areas that you can focus on and say this has been a success story?
Thank you very much, Comrade Chirabo. From my standpoint of view, first of all, I want to say that I'm very happy at the progress that has been made so far. First, that you have men in the studios talking about issues of women. Because what has been leaving women behind is the fear of men who have been occupying space, and the fear that they were advocating for men being displaced from those privileged positions under a patriarchy system. We have increasingly more men appreciating issues that we talk about, the issues of women, and that talks to the number of interventions also that the government is putting in place. One of the overarching programs within the ministry, the parish development model, the Ministry of Gender took center stage in advocating for a particular quota of funding under PDM being allocated for the use by women, which is 30%.
So that is 30% of the entire money.
Of the entire money, whatever money goes to the parish, as they are giving out that money, they have to put aside 30% for projects, for the benefit of women projects. The same for youth, which I'm talking about the mandate of the ministry, and also for people with disabilities. There are also specific programs within the ministry. For example, the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program. I'm talking about issues of women economic empowerment because after you have achieved economic empowerment, it is a precursor to attainment of the others as well. You and me will appreciate that in Uganda and many African countries, if you are not economically empowered, even issues of political participation could be just a hearsay. It will be very difficult for you to achieve political participation without economic empowerment. We are talking about the action areas of Beijing, the 12 action areas, and one of them was the issue of political participation. Why were women lagging behind in political participation? It's because they were not economically empowered. We are talking about issues of inheritance. Of course, in Uganda, we have got also achievement in terms of succession laws, inheritance laws, but my mother never enjoyed these rights. In terms of inheritance, or for example, if a man died, it would be difficult those days for a girl child or a woman to get a share of property of their parents. That has now changed. And now without land, it would be difficult for you to even access financing from the traditional institutions of banks. Even banks have just been engendered because in the past, in banks, there was a provision that your husband had signed for you somewhere to indicate that they agree to the fact that you should borrow. All these were really affecting the women. Now, in education, back then, and education has always been expensive. If a poor family had to make a choice, who of the two children, a girl and a boy, who should go to school when there are limited resources, chances are that the family would say, let the boy go to school. Many of our mothers, our grandparents didn't go to school, not because they didn't want to go to school, but because the system just disfavored them. So they lost out on education. Today, in this government, you have more girls going to school. Thanks to UPE, you have more girls going to school, and I see also have been monitoring PRE results. You're increasingly seeing performance of the girls. That is not to say that we have arrived. No. There are still hurdles. For example, if you have two boys and they have gone to school at the same time, they come back, most likely when the girl comes back, will be asked to do domestic chores.
Washing dishes,
prepare food for your siblings. And that, of course, stands away in their performance, stands in the way of their performance. But that they're increasingly performing better also talks to the fact that there have been some development in those areas. Of course, there are many girls also in boarding schools. So there they have access like many others. So we have moved. There are also issues to do with the health of the women. Back then, the maternal mortality rates were high. Mothers dying in the process of bringing to life a human being, producing children. Men were dying. Today, thanks to the improvement in the health sector, fewer are dying. And I think we are progressing as a country. Haji talked about the fact that when you have the majority population of the country who are women, any talk of achievement of development in a country means that you have targeted them. You have to target the women if you have to achieve in terms of the growth aspirations of this country. And increasingly you see that there are studies which have been done. I'll talk to the study or census of business establishments. The census of business establishments report, the latest, indicated that there are more and more women. Actually, women control the majority of the businesses in the small sector, in the small and micro sector. The challenge has been that most of these women businesses remain stunted. You will see a woman selling charcoal, probably 10 bags of charcoal. 1 year after the other, they don't grow. It's not because they are not making money, but because the requirements at home eat into their business. Somebody is making a profit of probably 30,000, and when they go back home, they have to buy charcoal, they have to buy food, they have to look after children, and then, so they are living hand to mouth. So interventions by government are in such a way that women are able to grow and expand their enterprises. That's the essence of programs like WEP, programs like GROW. such that these businesses can flourish and grow, so that these women are in position to employ other women. There is another study which is called the MasterCard Index. The MasterCard Index has shown that Ugandan women are enterprising, actually at a global scale. We compete favorably on the African continent. We are the best, only followed by Ghana. At the global scale, we are among the top entrepreneurs. Our women are more enterprising. Most of women will think of starting their own enterprise. So if we address the other bottlenecks that fail them, these enterprising women, from expanding and growing their enterprises, that would be good. I'm happy that government has put focus on this. That's why there is a whole Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and it's specifically addressing the issue of women.
Now let me bring in Haji here. Haji, when we talk about the various government initiatives into addressing economic empowerment, one would ask, why am I so much interested in economic empowerment? Because I want to believe a woman who is economically empowered, one has the power to make wise decisions. She will not be battered in a marriage because she has nowhere to go and doesn't know how to start. Not that I'm fighting for divorce and all that. She will not have this cycle that she's giving birth to children who cannot go to school. Now, Haji, how successful have these programs been?
Yeah, first of all, I think Joshua has alluded to the success, and our niche as government has basically been on the flagship programs that Joshua has just alluded to. But specifically, in around 2015, we introduced, before the flagship programs that were planted in different ministries, but specifically this that was...
Well, allow me still interrupt you, and we go back to the High Court where we have more proceedings happening there. Let's move to the High Court.
On that person by a competent court upon complaints made to the High Court by or on behalf of